It is deadly and frightening, and now it has gone global. The COVID-19 pandemic is suing lives around the world, horrifying populations, and even forcing entire countries into lockdown. But when it all began, what actually went on in Wuhan, the Chinese city at the heart of the outburst? With individuals eager for information, we all know that from day one, the Chinese Communist Party at different stages did everything possible to cover up the outbreak and lied to Chinese citizens and the entire world. The COVID-19 has caused life to a near standstill in almost all parts of the world. The disease, which has originated in central China's Hubei province, has taken more than 6 lakh lives so far and continues to negatively affect more than 150 countries globally. However, the effect could be lowered if China had been more transparent about the virus outbreak in the beginning. The first case of coronavirus was stated from Hubei's Wuhan city in December last year and has affected millions of people till now. With more than 1 lakh deaths in the United States alone, it has now become an epicenter of the deadly virus. An editorial in American magazine National Review features how China kept information that proved harmful against the coronavirus fight. The COVID-19 that jumps from an animal species to a human being possibly at the Chinese wet market. On December 1, 2019, the symptom beginning date of the first patient identified. 5 days after illness began, his 53-year-old wife, who had no acknowledged history of contact with the market, also suffered from pneumonia and was hospitalized in the isolation ward. It wasn't until the second week of December, the Wuhan doctors were discovering cases that showed the virus was spreading from one human to another. On December 25, Chinese medical staff in 2 hospitals in Wuhan were located to be suspected of spreading viral pneumonia and were quarantined. Later, hospitals in Wuhan observed an exponential increase in the number of cases in late December that cannot be connected back to the Hunan seafood wholesale market. Whistleblower Dr. Li Wenliang notified a group of other doctors about a probable outbreak of an illness that resembled severe acute respiratory syndrome, SARS. He advised them to take protective measures against infection. On December 31, the Wuhan Municipal Health Commission stated that their investigation has not located any obvious human-to-human transmission and no medical staff infection. China communicated with the World Health Organization, WHO, 3 weeks after doctors first started noticing the cases. At the beginning of January, an order was issued to Li Wenliang by the Wuhan Public Security Bureau, alleging the doctor of spreading rumors. On January 3, Dr. Li signed a declaration at a police station admitting his misdemeanor and promising not to commit more unlawful acts. China's National Health Commission ordered institutions not to print any information related to the unknown disease. On the same day, the Hubei Provincial Health Commission ordered to discontinue testing samples from Wuhan related to the new disease and ruined all existing samples. The Wuhan Municipal Health Commission announced another statement, reiterating that preliminary examinations have shown no clear evidence of human-to-human transmission and no medical staff infections. 59 individuals in the central city of Wuhan have been sickened by a pneumonia-like illness, as per a statement by the New York Times published on January 6. On the same day, the Chinese Center for Disease Control and Prevention published a Level 1 travel watch. It warned travelers to Wuhan to avoid contact with dead or living animals, animal markets, and sick people. On January 8, Chinese medical authorities claimed to have recognized the virus, restating that it still found no clear evidence of human-to-human transfer. On January 11, the Wuhan City Health Commission released a Q&A sheet highlighting that most of the unexplained viral pneumonia cases in Wuhan have a history of contact with the South China seafood marketplace, and no clear proof of human-to-human spread has been discovered. Dr. Li Wenliang was hospitalized on January 12. He started coughing and developed a fever after mistakenly treating a patient with the COVID-19. Later, Wenliang's condition worsened so critically that he was admitted to the intensive care unit and was given oxygen support. On January 13, the first case of COVID-19 was reported outside China involving a 61-year-old Chinese lady in Thailand who had visited Wuhan. However, Thailand's Ministry of Public Health said the lady had not visited the Wuhan seafood market, and on January 5, she had come down with a fever. The lady had visited a different, smaller market in Wuhan, in which freshly and live slaughtered animals were sold. The World Health Organization on January 14 in its report detailed Preliminary investigations conducted by the Chinese authorities have found no clear evidence of human-to-human transmission of the novel coronavirus 2019 CoV identified in Wuhan, China. On January 15, Japan reported its first case of COVID-19, and its health ministry said the patient had not visited any seafood markets in China. The Wuhan Municipal Health Commission in a report said that the possibility of limited human-to-human transmission cannot be let out. Despite the fact that doctors in Wuhan knew that the virus is contagious, city administrators allowed 40,000 families to gather and share home-cooked food in a Lunar New Year banquet, as per the editorial in National Review. On January 19, the Chinese National Health Commission stated the virus still preventable and controllable. A day later, the head of China's National Health Commission team examining the outbreak confirmed that 2 cases of infection in China's Guangdong province had been instigated by human-to-human transmission, and medical staff had been infected. On January 21, the CDC declared the first case of the COVID-19 in the US. The patient had come back from China 6 days ago. On January 22, a WHO team led a field visit to Wuhan and determined deployment of the new test kit nationally suggests that human-to-human transmission is taking place in Wuhan. Nearly 2 months after the first case of the virus was stated, Chinese authorities declared their first steps for a quarantine of Wuhan. By this time, a good number of Chinese residents have traveled abroad as asymptomatic, oblivious carriers. The only thing for sure is that if there is another epidemic in the future, there will be the same cover-up and lies. It's not some officials' decisions to cover up and lie that should be much simpler to handle and correct. From the party boss of Wuhan Central Hospital to regime leader Xi Jinping, everyone played a role, and not one person seemed responsible. If the cover-up involved officials being substituted by other officials, the results would be still the same. Everything we had studied about China's modern history was propaganda. Not only were the events lies, but the CCP also created superior terms to improve the effects. The following are some examples in standard textbooks like Chinese Communist Party was the leader of the anti-Japanese war, while in reality, the CCP hid in Yan'an doing interior cleansing to kill its members. The Korean War, which, in China, is termed as the war to resist US aggression and aid Korea, was originally caused by an invasion led by the United States. The Great Famine, which is called the 3-year natural disaster, was caused by the Soviet Union's asking payment of debts after the disaster, instead of by the Great Leap Forward. The deceptions not only exist in the propaganda machine and education system, they are everywhere, intensely infusing the whole party and government system and ordinary people's lives. For officials at different stages, it's not why they lie, but that they have never learned to tell the truth. It's just not in their blood. The system rewards the bad and punishes the good. Anyone with the ethics to tell the truth either couldn't get into the system or would have been booted out long before they had a chance to be promoted. The Chinese Communist Party believes any truth is a threat to its rule. Mao began many political campaigns to make sure that nobody dared to seek the truth. The torture of Falun Gong and other religious groups also sends the message to people that believing in truth will bring risk to themselves. The CCP's lies are safeguarded by the legal system. Whoever tries to uncover the CCP's lies will be punished by the legal system and even forced to confess on television, as many human rights lawyers can confirm. When it didn't keep the promises to the World Trade Organization it made in 2001, it just extended its everyday domestic practice to international affairs. Individuals shouldn't be surprised to see Huawei and other Chinese companies violating UN sanctions by helping Iran and North Korea. During the early stage of the outburst, China bought almost the entire US supply of face masks, from regular face masks to N95 respirators, leaving US healthcare workers helpless. This wasn't individual action by some firms and overseas Chinese. It was well designed and organized by the top leadership. According to a Chinese media report, on January 28, a chartered Boeing 747 cargo plane completely loaded with personal protective equipment, PPE, left for China from Chicago. While the report's headline is Overseas Chinese and Students Chartered Aircraft with Donated PPE to China, the editorial's content tells a different story. The event was organized by Yadayan Zixin, a news collection website, and the China CUN Foundation for Poverty Alleviation. The chartered aircraft and 80% of the PPE were funded by Yadayan Zixin and not by donations. The China CUN Foundation for Poverty Alleviation is run by the CCP Department of United Front Work, which focuses on recruiting persons and organizations outside China to support the CCP. Possibly the foundation organized some donations or just picked up the rest of the cost itself. The main shareholder of Yudian Zixin is Chen Ming, the vice president of Phoenix News Media. When a journalist from Phoenix TV asked President Donald Trump during a press briefing on April 6 if he wanted to work with China on safeguarding medical supplies during the pandemic, Trump asked her if she was from China's state media, and she rejected it. Liu Changle, the founder of Phoenix, once declared that Phoenix was the little brother of the state-run China Central TV, CCTV. The China model can't be copied, whether concerning the economy or fighting the CCP virus. It requires not only lying about all but also the no-escape censorship, no free media, one-voice propaganda, and the quick reaction of the police force to lock up residents who don't fit into the web of lies. How could any country copy that? No practice can be learned from China. When all data is faked, how can we know which measure is efficient fighting the virus, even if the new cases have truly declined? So far, not a specific country or international organization has benefited from the CCP's information and assistance. It turns out that the World Health Organization, WHO, lied and failed the world by endorsing all the CCP's claims and data. Taiwan is the exception. Not only didn't it get help but was banned and isolated by WHO, and look at how well it's doing. The world would be better off without the CCP and WHO. As for the medical supplies delivered by China, they are either of lower quality, such as recalled face masks in the Netherlands and the broken testing kits in Czechia and Spain, or China has set conditions for receiving them. That's not cooperation. If the co-signers of the report by former US officials want the United States to work with the Chinese, the first thing they must do is to ask the Chinese government to stop lying and provide the real data to the international community. Support should start with trust. How could anyone trust a government that hasn't told a single truth about the worst epidemic since the 1918 Spanish flu? The CCP has repeatedly cheated the world. This time, possibly it's the last time. It's a real wake-up call. So that's it from our side. Also, make sure to leave us a like, share this video with your friends, and also subscribe to our channel for more great content like today. We hope you enjoyed our video, and we'll see you next time.